You're listening to the Peasinner Network. For more great podcasts, go to peasinner.com.au.
Spoiler alert. I mean, honestly, if you listen to this podcast, spoilers.
Spoilers.
I don't think at any point it was meant to be
A secret.
a huge secret. Like, they try their best to keep a secret. No,
The characters act like they're like, oh, what? Like, we'll get to that point, but the characters act surprised. But it's a bit like, really?
well,
That you heard
Yeah.
the voice? But I guess you see a lot of creepy shit in the
yeah, you see a lot of creepy shit in the universe. People of the universe, please attend carefully. The message which follows is of vital importance to you all. We present to you a case study of one of the most dangerous minds in the universe. A history of the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord known as the Master.
The Master. Call me Master.
The choice is simple. Join us and continue listening, or face total annihilation.
Listen.
They are the Master, and you will obey them.
You will obey me.
Please attend carefully. Hello and welcome to Please Attend Carefully, the Doctor Who podcast about the most magisterial of malefactors. I'm Ciarán Moffat.
I'm Amber Patrick.
And each week we discuss the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord, known universally as the Master. This week, we're looking at World Enough in Time, the Season 10 2017 story, the penultimate story, the first of a two-parter, written by the much maligned Steven Moffat, but on perfect form here.
Yes.
Amber, tell us what it's about.
The Doctor, Missy, Nardole, and Bill land on a ship that is being pulled into a black hole. Their aim is to use it as a training mission for Missy's rehabilitation and have her save the people on board. The mission is soon abandoned when they realise that the time dilation between the front and back of the ship is causing bigger problems. Separated, Bill ends up at the back of the ship in a hospital with a weird little man called Mr. Razor.
Yeah, this story's got a lot. So it's got a lot riding on it, right? And I think for something that is such a hugely master-heavy story, they kind of throw you a curveball to make you not look at the Master to begin with. Because the story opens with the 12th Doctor regenerating, right?
Yeah, he comes out of the TARDIS into the snow and...
Yeah. So we know that that's happening. So then it cuts to this ship. They step out. Missy comes out. They've all got earpieces in, which I love.
Yes, out of the TARDIS lands, the door opens and Missy comes out and goes, "Hello, I'm Doctor Who."
Yes. These are my companions, Thing 1 and Thing 2.
There are so many good Missy quotes, so it's going to be impossible to mention them all. I'm only going to mention, I promise, a couple of them that stood out. But every line she says is a banger in this thing in its own right.
But I would like to point out at this, I think it's worth noting that, yeah, everything she says is perfect. But at about 10 minutes into the episode, she stops and she doesn't talk until the last 5 minutes of the story. Like, she gets a couple of snipey lines in, but the second the Doctor takes control of the situation, she starts sulking.
Yeah, it's incredible because it's meant this entire setup, we are to believe, is that Missy is going to take the place of the Doctor. Like, he doesn't even come out of the TARDIS.
Yep.
She is in control. She's going to be the hero. He wants her to be good. So this is part of that. And Bill and Nardole aren't quite into it, but they're tagging along because it's what the Doctor wants.
Yep.
So we believe that that's what this episode's going to be. Oh, the Missy's replacing the Doctor. That's the setup for the plot.
Right.
It is not the plot.
It is not the plot because it gets abandoned pretty quickly. And obviously, like, we've seen Missy bits through this season, right? Just little bits here and there.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to more heavily talk about that character development in the next episode.
It's more relevant there.
It's much more relevant there. People who have a go at Steven Moffat, these two stories are basically character driven.
Yeah.
I love them. So suddenly this guy appears on this ship and can we talk quickly about Steven Moffat's blue people?
His blue people, okay.
So he invented the blue people, I assume, because the Dory and Maldivar's a blue person, and then there's the oxygen episode where the blue. I knew you were a racist.
That's right.
Yeah, and Nardole coming out with his usual nonsensical gibberish is like, "I used to be blue."
Yeah, and I think he says I should go back to it.
Yes, which bounces me neatly onto Missy's line. These are my offsiders, comic relief and exposition. Yes.
Yep.
Beautiful.
This is the first time we're talking about this particular TARDIS team. I really like them.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're really, really great. I think they just have a really nice dynamic. Again, like we're a master show, but I think it's worth noting that Bill, really great companion, very brilliant decision to have a queer character who has no romantic views of the Doctor whatsoever, because I think the Doctor Who gets over romanticized. And also Nardole as a character who's able to tell the Doctor off.
Yes, sort of like a left behind voice of River Song almost, in like that's where his origin came from, was working with her. So he's sort of been around that voice of reason.
That's his thing, right? So basically the Doctor operates with a companion by showing them the universe that they've never seen before. Nardole's been there, seen it.
Yeah. Nothing ever surprises him really, or it's a fun companion. I'm really glad as well to not have a human from Earth companion within him, which is
all
fun.
all the weird lines he throws out. I used to be blue. I've got invisible hair. I've got artificial nipples.
So we get them having this conversation where Missy insists that the Doctor's real name is Doctor Who.
Yes.
And she's like, I know his real name. It's Doctor Who. And he's like, she's just trying to wind you up, Bill.
So this argument actually comes out of a production thing, right? Because for a very, very long time, the Doctor was credited in the end credits of the TV show as Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And then
all the books are Doctor Who and...
Well, yes, that's the thing. That's the thing about Doctor Who titling. I am always a big fan of Doctor Who and the. So what's the finale of this upcoming season with Ncuti Gatwa? It's called like the Death of Time or something like that. That's a classic Doctor Who title. Doctor Who and the Death of Time.
Yeah.
That's what I love. But yeah, so people were credited as Doctor Who, Dr. and of course the classic, the films.
Yes.
With Peter Cushing, where he is Doctor Who, with his granddaughter Susan Who. And yeah, it went to the Doctor for like the third and fourth Doctors, but then it went back to Doctor Who for like Peter Davison. So that's where that argument came from. But I love how she says, look, he says, I'm the Doctor, they say Doctor Who. See, I'm streamlining.
Yeah.
And then she dabs.
Yes, she does.
Which dates this episode horribly.
It's not a strong dab. It's a weak. It's like they didn't commit to the full sort of dab.
Well, it's because it's like a 3/4 shot of her face, right? Like they can't do, if they were doing a full shot, then she'd do the like full dab. Like Michelle Gomez would full dab.
I think it's like not strong enough that even eventually it won't be recognizable as a dab.
It might just be her just voguing.
But, yeah.
Write in, which would you prefer Missy to do, dab or vogue? Which will basically separate anyone like for over the age of 35 from under the age of 35.
So returning to the Blue Man, he starts demanding who is human.
Yes, because the lifts start coming up.
Well, and also an alarm starts going off, which Missy's like, it's actually quite a good beat. Yeah. And she's like dancing to the alarm sounding. Oh, that's a nice moment.
Yep. She has a go at the Doctor for eating crisps while watching her be him.
Yes. And he's like, no, I'm not eating.
Yeah, quickly puts the crisps down.
I knew we said we weren't going to say all of her quotes, but I think one of my favorites has to be when the Blue Man is demanding to know which one of them is human. He says to Missy, are you human? And she's like,
don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
There are just so many quick one-liners from her.
She's on fire.
It is she is at her best, and she's got an audience, and I think that's when Missy thrives, when she's got an audience.
Yeah,
right?
and Peter Capaldi would not have been on set with them for this part of the shoot.
Yeah,
so she would have been the main Time Lord on the floor, like, you know.
Yeah.
She's all eyes on her kind of. So it's really fun.
It is very, very fun. So
It quickly turns into not being fun.
So what I like about this is, again, it is Steven Moffat deconstructing Doctor Who a bit. So like he's done this whole bit about, being Doctor Who and trying to, can Missy be the Doctor? Can anyone be the Doctor? So this guy starts waving around a gun. He's saying, which one of you is human? They only come up for humans. And, the lifts are slowly rising. Missy is basically just sniping at him. Nardole is trying to basically distract him. The Doctor comes out and does the Doctor thing. The Doctor comes out and he starts talking to him, soon I'll be gone and you'll be wondering who is that man who saved my life.
Yeah, and soon you'll trust me. I'll have saved you and everyone on this ship and you'll love me for it.
And he's slowly walking up to him and you can see, like, he's at arm level. He could, if the Doctor had been thinking if the Doctor had been thinking quicker, he would have knocked the man's hand. But he's trying to get right in front of him.
And Bill admits she's the human.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It raises the stakes again, and the Doctor suddenly gets more imposing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? The second she says she's human, everyone, I think what you see in that scene, everyone in that scene, except her, knows that she's dead.
Yep.
The second she said it, like they'd been trying to avoid it. Nardole had been trying to distract. Missy had been trying to shut it down. The Doctor was trying to take control. Second she said it, because she thought that she was helping the Doctor. The second she says that, she is dead. And he pulls the trigger because they're right there. Like he is more scared of what is coming up in those lifts than anything the Doctor could ever do.
Yeah.
And the Doctor, I think, forgets that. I think that's something the Doctor forgets, that he is not the scariest, the most imposing person in the room.
Yep. And because we've framed this as it's like a training exercise. They didn't come into this situation with any real sense of danger or threat. It was a kind of a throwaway, okay, over a comlink, I'll step you through a standard rescue.
Yep. And I don't think I think he always thinks that.
Yeah.
I think that's something we need to really admit. The Master always knows that the situation can go any way and is always ready.
Yeah.
The Doctor is always surprised when it happens. He always thinks I suppose that's down to like believing in the basic human decency or something.
Yeah.
So Bill gets shot and like they don't shy away from it. They need you to know that Bill is dead. Like is basically dead. There's a literal fist-sized hole through her abdomen.
Yeah.
And then we get the flashback.
Actually, the flashback is first, and we've cut back from the flashback to see the hole. So we hear the gun go off, and we see her flinch. Flashback.
Okay.
But it's still the same kind of effect. Like, we have the giant hole in Bill.
Yeah, so the flashback is the Doctor trying to convince Bill to take Missy out on this training exercise.
Yeah.
And like the Doctor and Bill throughout this series, it is a beautiful series and a beautiful arc. This sort of a student thing that he's got going. He's taken Bill under his wing, but at the same time she's sort of humanizing him and they've become really good friends.
Yeah. And I love the vulnerability. She says Missy scares me.
Yes.
I'm scared of her.
And you should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely you should be.
And the Doctor's response is like, oh, but I trust her, or
The line we get is, she is the only person I've ever met who is even remotely like me.
Yeah.
That says a lot. The Doctor is seeing Missy through nostalgia.
Yeah.
The Doctor sees the Master through nostalgia.
I've got a great quote here.
Yeah.
Which is, she was my first friend, always so brilliant from the first day at the academy. So fast, so funny. She was my man crush. I think she was a man back then. I think I was too.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that I was too, yeah. It is a great line, and also that is Steven Moffat really hammering home that, like, no matter what you think, the Doctor and the Master, gender is a construct.
Yeah. And it's really like, as you say, looking at it through nostalgia, I think I was too. Like, he doesn't have the clear maybe image in his head. It is a gender sort of blur as well.
Yeah.
But it is also like a looking back on your past and remembering the best
Yeah, remembering it the best way. It's nostalgia, that it is an illness.
Yes, because he also says, we had a pact, me and him. Every star in the universe, we were going to see them all. But he was too busy burning them. I don't think she ever saw anything.
Yes. So this is... The Doctor thinks that Missy has the capacity to change where the Master didn't. And like we know that regenerations are different, right? Every regeneration is a different person. They have different... They can be different people. They can be who they want to be. Or at least that's the Doctor's whole shtick, right? You can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah. It's interesting as well, all of this stuff with Missy coming off the back of what we also consider canon Missy knowing about the Lumiat.
Well, again, I think it's the whole...
What do you think it's blurred?
When two regenerations meet, things get blurred. Like, for example, she sees nothing of anything else that's about to happen. She remembers nothing.
That's true.
You don't remember being here before, do you?
I've never been here before. Will you please stop wittering on or I'll have to splatter your brains for finger paint.
Oh, you have been here before. You really can trust me on that.
Planet, which planet?
We go back to the ship, massive hole in Bill's chest.
Yep.
And they arrive.
They're in long
Hospital gowns.
Hospital gowns. Yeah, they've got sort of white stockings on their heads with tubes coming out their nose and going up and around their ears. They're carrying... They literally have...
IV bags.
like
IV
big
cylinders.
Yeah, big cylinders with glowing things and like glowing strand of IV thing going into them. And they just talk with a box on the stand.
Yeah.
They're just pressing buttons.
A modulator kind of thing.
Yeah. Which is all Nicholas Briggs' voice.
Yes. It's at this point, I guess my question is it's obvious because the sound of the voice is...
I don't think at any point it was meant to be...
a secret.
A huge secret. Like, they try their best to keep a secret. No,
the characters act like they're like, oh, what? Like, we'll get to that point, but the characters act surprised. But it's a bit like, really?
Well...
That you heard the voice? But I guess you see a lot of creepy shit.
You see a lot of creepy shit in the universe. So they take Bill and go down in the elevators. And
I think the Doctor could have done more to stop. He kind of lets them.
Well, he lets them because...
I guess she's going to die otherwise.
Yeah, she's going to die otherwise, and they won't let him go with them. So he's like, this is her best chance of survival.
He puts a message in her brain.
Yes, wait for him. So now we have two strands, right?
Oh, and yes, Missy has her sonic umbrella in this scene.
It's something that's not very used, is it?
No.
Because normally she's had her PDA.
Yeah.
But now she's going full Poppins.
Well, she's the star now. She's going out as the Doctor, so I guess she's upped her game.
Do we actually see it being Sonic, or does she just point her umbrella at people?
I think in the next episode.
Yeah, very possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So
we find out about the dilation.
So this ship is basically like a big cylinder. It's a colony ship, they say. You know, it's meant to take hundreds of thousands of people away. The ship is stuck on the event horizon of a black hole. So this is really, really clever sci-fi writing.
It's awesome.
In that, of course, time moves slower at the apex of it because black holes swallow everything, including time.
Yeah.
So everything's slower at the top and very, very fast right down below. And so we learn that the skeleton crew that was taking this ship has all basically turned into a massive civilization at the bottom end of the ship.
Yeah.
Living in these sort of ecosystems that are designed up to the point where they've reached like an industrial revolution that is now killing them.
Yes. They've gone through an entire life cycle of human life, essentially.
Yeah. And like each level has people living on it at varying stages of... It is a beautiful... it's a beautiful concept that you would have like... It's almost sort of Star Trek-y in that sort of... You would have like a feudal society at one end and you would have, you know, a vast cybernetic society at the other.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if you're Moffat and you think of this idea, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saving this for like a finale.
Yeah.
It's heading towards a black hole.
No,
it isn't.
it was heading towards a black hole until somebody noticed. Now they're trying to reverse away from it. Engines are on reverse thrust, see?
Well, is succeeding.
Very, very slowly.
What we have now, like, I think we can basically just sort of scoot over and say that the Doctor, Missy, Nardole, and Mr. Blue, that's what I'm calling him, Blue Meanie, they are at the head of the ship. The Doctor is trying to work, like, he is working out what is happening.
Yeah.
Bill wakes up in this hospital at the other end of the ship and finds her heart and other organs have been replaced by this metal unit, which is actually a wonderful callback to the flashback where the Doctor says, you've only got one heart.
You're fragile.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't promise I won't get you killed because you're human.
Yep.
Anything could kill you.
Yep.
And
Which
again,
is
he
pretty
makes
grim.
this joke. Yeah. This is such a dark episode for a companion.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of long-suffering companions, Bill suffers all at once, I feel. Like, she tells him, I don't want to do this, I'm scared. And he's like, it'll be fine. And it's just not.
Yeah. Like I've said many times before, one of the things that Doctor Who often lacks is the immediacy and the senselessness of the universe.
And that's what this is.
That's absolutely what this is. Like, Bill gets shot in a situation that didn't need to happen, that just did, and there was nothing anyone could do.
And that guy wasn't even a villain or a threat. He was just trying to save everyone by killing her so that they wouldn't get the rest of them.
Yep. Like, and I've often said the main reason the Daleks or the Cybermen aren't as scary as they could be is because they don't just kill people indiscriminately anymore. Like, people don't just die because they're basically necessary for the plot and because people want to finish plot lines, unless you're George R. R. Martin. So she wakes up in this bed and she's got this chest unit and she is helped by a little man called Mr. Razor.
Yes.
I don't know why I went French there. That was
well, he is going all over
He's
the place.
all over the place, yeah.
He's kind of got like a homeless hipster chic vibe.
Are you just
going.
saying that because of the baggy beanie?
He's got a slouchy beanie. He's also got the scarf and he's kind of got the tattered gloves, like, you know.
Yeah. Could be homeless, could be, just hipster.
Yeah.
Could be about to serve you a coffee.
Next thing is, like, I think genuinely one of the most fucked up things that Doctor Who has ever done. Like, terrifying.
So we should just say at this point, like, obviously, if you're listening to this point, we're talking about Cybermen. Like, we are talking about Cybermen. And
like,
what Steven Moffat...
Pre-Cybermen.
Yeah, what he has done is he's given us, like, the larval stage. He has given us the link between being a human, like that step that people have to take to become Cybermen.
Watching this definitely made me think of Anti-Genesis, which we have, we just released an episode of, because it was that same connecting tissue between
absolutely
Khaled, mutant, Dalek, and this is like human pre-Cyberman. Cyberman, And
there's so many different stages of them as well. Some of them have eye holes cut out. Some of them have metal helmets on. But to begin with, they all have this IV look and drip. And the chilling scene that I think we're going to talk about is where Bill goes into the ward.
Yeah, and also this set is not like a kind of space colony.
It looks like a 1950s hospital.
Yeah, it's dark, it's dingy, it's dirty. There's no real lighting, and they're all just lined up, sitting in rows.
Yeah, it's terrible. And she walks in because there's someone sitting there at the end, just pressing the button that says pain, 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 and she goes over there and she has to hide behind a curtain because the terrifying matron...
Yes, and Mr. Razor come in.
Matron Trunchbull, as I'm calling her.
What's the woman from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? I don't remember.
Oh, Nurse Ratched.
Yes, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know who she looks like? She looks like the woman in Drop Dead Fred that they get to bodyguard the girl in her bedroom. Seen that movie? Do you remember?
I have seen that movie. I'm trying to remember.
The woman they get to force her to take her pills.
Oh, yeah. God, it's been so long since I've seen that. So, she hides behind the curtains and she sees the nurse do something to the drip.
Yeah.
And he stops saying pain. Walks out and she goes over and has a look at the drip and she turns this knob and it's just a volume knob.
Yeah.
All this nurse has done is turn down the volume of him saying pain. And that's Steven Moffat distilling Cybermen.
Yeah.
Right there, right? They are in pain. But all they're doing is turning it down. Like, they're turning down hearing about it.
Yeah.
Knowing about it.
And the thing that I love, the really confronting, like, moral part of this is that Bill also turns the volume down because she can't bear to listen to them say they're in pain.
And she can't. She'll be found. There's another one. She turns the volume. It just says, "Kill me, kill me."
Yeah, and she has to turn them off because she just can't do anything. And it's like, God, she's having to go through a lot.
Yes.
Like, that's a really confronting thing to hear and see people in pain and to silence them and walk away.
Yeah, for your own safety. It is so hard. And like, this is,
we were saying about making the Cybermen scary again. This is
how you do it.
This way, this way.
What about him?
It's all right. They don't feel pain.
I think they do.
Yes, they do.
So what did he say they don't?
It was a clever lie, but you see straight through me. Come, T, this way.
What are those things?
People, they're people.
What are you doing to them?
Curing them. Come.
The people are doing this, obviously, because on the floor that they're on, there's no natural resource. There's pollution and chemicals and things like that are damaging them.
Yeah, he says that the air is engine fumes because this ship wasn't meant to be, alive for this long. It was meant to be a colony ship that took them to their new
And
home.
also it's going full blast away from it is actually very slowly moving away.
Yeah.
Just very, very slowly.
Because it's Mr. Razor's sort of the one who's helping her through this, and he says the line, "Evolution is too slow to keep up with what's happening here, so we're having to accelerate evolution to survive." And like, we see some of the people that live on this floor, and they're not fighting it. There isn't like a revolution or anything rising up against this. They're all complacent. They're all lining up at the hospital to go into the wards to become these patients.
But there is this sinister undercurrent because obviously there's this nurse who's horrible, and also Bill can't step foot outside of the building, otherwise her chest unit will stop working.
Yeah.
So there's a coercion there.
Yeah, there's this. We have skipped a little bit, but we'll go back to it because she asks Mr. Razor, like, who are these people? And he keeps calling them his special patients.
Yeah.
Like, they're don't worry, they're our special patients, and this is necessary because we have to do this so that later you'll all be okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this stage has to happen, but these people are special because they're letting this happen so we can progress to the next stage. There's this propaganda that's just going around, like, and it's really well done because Bill just has this message from the doctor, wait for me. So she even starts working with them. She starts cleaning the floors and stuff like that. She becomes part of the team because she has no other option, and the doctor said to wait.
And she has this really quite nice relationship with Razor. They have a really lovely friendship. They sit and watch the TV very, very slowly move of the doctor getting to...
Yeah, he says, I've set up a screen for you. And she's like watching them move. Yeah. And she's like, oh, he's got his eyebrow raised. He's going to ask a question. And it was at this point where I was like, doctor, stop. You know what's going on. Stop fucking about up there and explain in the lift.
I mean, yeah. I'll tell you in the lift. Come on.
Yes, you know that Bill's in a time dilation. It's going to be a long time for her. Get down there.
Yeah.
Do we know how long Bill's down there?
Months, years, I would say. Several years. It's only a few minutes. Only a couple of minutes for them. But yeah, it's got to be years.
How long have I been here?
Oh, weeks. Many weeks. Maybe months.
God.
It's good. You get strong.
Yeah, I came here with people, my friends.
Oh.
We still don't quite know exactly how long, because she notices that they've gotten in the lift.
Yes.
And so she wants to get out and find the lift.
Yeah, we don't know how long the lift trip.
Yeah, we don't know how long the lift trip took, but Mr. Razor says, I help you escape.
Yeah.
And takes her to this room, this theater, and she sees more, this sort of like if it was like the evolution of man, but with Cybermen, like just the bits of people. And then this creepy doctor comes in and says, we finally got something for your pain. You won't. It won't stop you feeling the pain, but it will stop you caring about it.
Yeah.
It's so sinister.
It is. Oh, that's right. They're also told that Bill says, "Why can't we just go back in the lift?" And he's like, "Oh no, if you go up in the lift, something up there kills you. Anyone who went up in the lift is died.
Oh, okay.
So we can't go up in the lift. We
I
can't
bet-
just go up there. We have to Project Exodus, where we all, once we're strong enough, we can go up the lift."
I would be willing to say that the reason people die when they go up the lift is that as the time dilation, they probably die in the lift going up, but it's actually a lot better for them coming down. Like, you survive if you go down, but you probably die of old age if you go up.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Or it's more propaganda. But
Or
yes,
it's probably more propaganda.
it would be the weirdest lift ride ever because it would take, relative to where you were going,
Yeah,
a long time.
I would not want to sit down and work out the maths on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
that doctor is creepy who converts Bill because he just comes out of nowhere. Like, we
Yeah.
haven't seen him before.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's just this guy who's like, yeah,
This guy with an RP accent
Yeah.
is like, "Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Potts." Well done, Mr. Razor. He's wearing
Yes.
like a little
That's-
raccoon mask, a little domino mask, and he's like, stupid thing. They
He says-
recognize me.
he says he's a master of disguise. He's got a little mask on.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It is adorable. But so
Oh, yeah. And Bill says when they tell her that she's going to get to be like them, she says they are screaming in pain every second they are alive.
yeah, and he says, "We have something for that. It won't stop you feeling the pain, but it'll stop you caring." And it is the like the T-bar on the head, right?
Yeah.
It is the handles. It is the Cyberman symbol that we all
Yeah.
know. This idea that it starts on either side of the head, goes up, across, and meets in the middle. That is the thing that is stopping them from accessing their pain.
Yeah. I do like when Mr. Razor sees like one of them wearing a little steel cap. He's like, "Oh, they have little hats. I like them."
Yes. I hope they give me a hat.
Yeah, I'll ask for a hat when it's my turn.
Oh, I like the hat. I'm going to ask for a hat when it's my turn.
So the Doctor and Missy and Nardole get down there, and they immediately go looking for Bill. The Doctor takes Nardole and says, "Missy, you do the computer things," and Nardole gets a bit
Stroppy,
yeah, a bit stroppy. "I do the computer things." "Yes, but she's smarter than you. She's more evil." Same thing.
Yes, I like the idea that Missy thinks clever equals evil.
Yeah. Well, for her, it does.
Yes.
So while the Doctor and
So they're-
Nardole go looking, Missy is sitting at the computer screen, and Mr. Razor literally capers in.
Skulks in to shot behind her. So there are two concurrent scenes, so I think we'll just focus on one and then we'll go back to
Yeah.
the other one. So we'll do the Missy and Mr. Razor one first.
Yeah.
He just sits in the background behind her and is just like grinning and
Yeah.
just like really like happy and pleased.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's a wonderful line where he's just like, I watched you on the monitors for so long, and it took me ages to figure out who you were.
Yes. Missy is on the computer and she figures out that this isn't an Earth colony ship.
No, it comes from a planet very much like Earth. Almost exactly like Earth. Almost as if it is the twin of Earth. So yes, the ship is from Mondas, the planet of the Cybermen.
Yes. It's a great reveal.
It is a good reveal. It doesn't quite explain why the Blue Meanie was there.
He's just on the
He's
team,
just
I guess.
okay. I suppose Mondas just
Well, no, because he's part of the team that were flying this ship to Mondas to pick them up.
okay.
So he's not Mondasian. He's part of just the company that makes these colony ships, I guess.
Okay. Fair enough. So Mondas and Missy's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's bad."
I also love that Mr. Razor starts to be a bit cheeky with her, and he's like, he just drops this line, "He'll never forgive you."
Yeah.
And Missy's like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "He'll never set you free. Not when he discovers what you did to his little friend."
Yeah, I haven't done anything to his little friend. Yes, you did quite a while ago.
Yep.
And there's this wonderful line about Missy's threatening to kill him, and he's got a gun on her, and he says, "Oh, you'd never be so self-destructive." But then again, neither would I.
And he throws the gun
Go
away.
She's like, "What are you talking about?" She is so bewildered, and
Yeah.
she's like, wants to kill him.
Because again, they're just not in the headspace for this.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Plus, if you believe like extended media, like the head fog that they must have being so close to one another.
Yes,
must
because it's
Da-da-da!
Saxon Master.
Yes. Well, I find it useful to wear. I find it useful to wear disguises when you're someone's former prime minister.
It's the best line to reveal on because at one point when I was watching the episode, I was thinking when Mr. Razor and Bill were having cups of tea, I was like, he doesn't need to be in disguise. She doesn't know who he is. And then he says that line and they go, oh, of course.
Yeah.
She would know who he is.
Yeah.
Everyone on Earth knows who that particular Master of Generation is.
But then he has that wonderful. He comes out and he's got the goatee.
Yes.
And he says, "Hello, Missy. I'm very worried about my future." It's really good. I love it.
I have been so looking forward to meeting you.
Right. I'm very happy for you.
I was watching you on the screen. It took me a while to work out who you were.
And then cut to the doctor looking at all of these poor wretches, and then he sees a Cyberman coming at him.
And I love it. It's really dark and like obscured in the doorway.
Yeah, he just sees boots.
Yeah, and they just watch as this Cyberman slowly steps out of the darkness.
And the doctor thinks, okay, fine, it's a Cyberman. It's just an ordinary Cyberman. He's like, okay, you're all linked by a neural network.
Yep.
Please tell me, where is Bill Potts? I need to know where Bill Potts is. And the Cyberman just very slowly, because of course it's a very early Cyberman.
Yeah.
Bill Potts.
You're quite good at that.
Thank you. Call me Nick.
Yeah, and
I am Bill Potts.
yeah, and I think he also realizes that it's Mondas.
Yeah, well, he sees it's a Mondasian Cyberman because
Yeah.
like the last time he saw those Cybermen was in the 10th planet, right?
Yeah.
Those are the early Cybermen.
And then Missy and Saxon Master
Yep.
step into the room.
And they come in and do a production joke that no one should really be able to understand. It's just like, oh, it's not an Exodus, it's a Genesis of the Cybermen. It's like, come on, guys.
Well,
Missy has broken the fourth wall, I suppose.
yeah, but this time it's Saxon who's breaking the fourth wall. I like the idea that at some point the Doctor and the Master had a conversation where the Doctor was like, yes, I was there at the genesis of the Cybermen. Like, just at some point they've had that conversation so the Saxon Master could be like, aha, I'm going to get him with this zinger.
And then, of course, the last scene is Bill crying. Like, you see a single tear come out of Bill's eye, which I think, again, is a wonderful, like, hammering home that Cybermen are people. Like, the camera zooms through the eye lens and to the human face underneath.
Yeah. I do love that Missy says, you've met the ex.
Yes, you've met the ex.
Kind of like you've met the wife. No.
Yeah, you've met the wife.
Yeah.
So
and there is this fantastic moment on Peter Capaldi's face when he hears the Saxon Master speak for the first time.
It's like he's been shocked. He's sort of...
Yeah, but there's also this slight, his facial expression is so good, slight undercurrent of just this contempt.
Yeah.
And this not now, this rage of like, I will just strangle you.
Yeah.
Like...
You're here. I've just found out my friend is a Cyberman, which is equal to dead.
Yeah. And also, you know, we'll get to it next time as well, but it's going to be like the Master is the person who creates the genesis of the Cybermen.
I'm not sure he is.
Oh, is it?
Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about mainly in this episode about the Cybermen. Like, I know this is a point that gets brought up in the next episode of the story, but something that Peter Capaldi says, something that the 12th Doctor says, is that the Cybermen don't come from Mondas. They come from anywhere there are humans.
Yeah.
Anywhere there are humans, humans will reach the point where they are desperate enough that they start doing this.
Yeah.
And he even reels off, he says, Mondas, Telos, Earth, Planet 4, Marinus, like all of these planets that have been kind of linked to Cybermen before.
Yeah.
And Cybermen are not a race. They're a force.
Yes.
They are a force of nature. And I think maybe the Master sped things up a little bit, but I think he was on that ship, and I think more than anything, he was just watching.
Should we just now zip back to the start of the episode?
Sure.
But we now know that Mr. Razor is the Master.
Yeah.
So you know, he's at some point started this process
Yeah.
of helping them, maybe just scientifically.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he's
push them
helped
along.
bring it along quicker, and I think I think he has enjoyed. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's the one who put it in the black hole. That I could believe.
Can we find out next episode? We're talking complete bollocks.
I don't. I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
remember. If I would remember that if
Okay.
that was a thing. Yeah. No. If we found out that he was the one who put the ship there, I would believe that.
Yep.
And I think he probably helped them, but I don't think they needed much help.
Yeah.
He probably helped with the propaganda.
Yes. Can you imagine? He's sitting down in his little area.
Hovel.
He sees the TARDIS on the security monitors because we see the security cameras like zoom in on the TARDIS when it arrives. Can you imagine when he just sees the TARDIS start landing on the top floor? Just like, again!
See, is that the case? I would like to posit another situation that maybe whether he parked the ship in the gravitational field or whatever, or whether he saw it and went, that's a likely place for the Doctor to turn up. I'm going to fuck with it until he gets here.
It is interesting, maybe.
Yeah, because he's worried about, like, he's done this because of Missy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm not going to have no future regeneration of mine is going to be good.
Yeah, that's true. I like that it took him a while because obviously he would have been watching them while they initially came into the room for that conversation. That maybe that like when because he wouldn't have been able to hear the comm link into the TARDIS.
No.
To know that the Doctor was there, but I guess he would. So did he think that Missy
was the Doctor? Yeah, possibly.
But he does know Missy by name.
True.
In the end, unless he overheard the Doctor say, "No, you come with me, Missy. You stay here."
Yeah, or maybe Bill talks in her sleep or something. I don't know.
I guess he does see the Doctor come out of the TARDIS to try and defend Bill. But I like the idea of maybe him rolling his eyes at something the Doctor does and then seeing in slow time Missy roll her eyes at the same time.
And be like, aha!
That's me.
That's me. I'd know that ass anywhere. Possibly. Well, yeah, look, I think in the end there's quite a lot that we don't know about how the Master got there or what exactly he did, but it does feel like a very classic Who story.
Yeah.
Like, he is capering around. Remember how we talked
capering is the big word for this.
Remember how we talked about Masterful and how it was kind of disappointing because the Saxon Master was not quite the Master that we had seen.
Yeah.
He was just, they were going, or in the End of Time. It was like, so, but this version of that Master feels so much more like Harold Saxon, right?
Yeah.
That sort of, the capering around. Like, I'm thinking Razor, I can see him doing that thing where he opens the door and shuts it again for the scream.
Yeah. One thing that this Master seems to have that I don't think, I realized until I watched this is that both of his major episodes, I guess not the End of Time, but Sound of Drums and this one, is he's got months to prepare.
Yeah.
So as Harold Saxon, he's got months to get ready for the Doctor showing up back on Earth. And this time he's also got months of waiting and watching.
Years.
Yeah. But I love him taking Bill as like his pet almost and being like, oh, a companion of the Doctor, time to rub it in his face. I'm going to make her be my best friend. We're going to be besties. We're going to sit and watch the Doctor channel together.
It's Delgado and Joe, right?
Yeah.
That is 100% what it is.
And and their outfits start matching, Bill and Razor, because there's nothing else to wear, obviously.
Yeah. Matching rags, lovely.
Yes, and they're sitting on the
accessorized with a little domino mask.
I love that he's reading a book, very Delgado.
Yeah.
Sitting on the bridge in Frontier in Space. I like he's reading a book and Bill's like, don't change the channel. And he's like, what, midway through an eyebrow raise? Never. like he's still got that sassiness, quippiness to him, which is great.
I have to ask, did you peg it as him?
I didn't watch Doctor Who at this point.
Of course.
I'd fallen off of watching it, I think, because I hadn't enjoyed Clara at all. So I just sort of, like admittedly a lot of people did, I sort of just went, oh, this isn't quite for me anymore. I might come back to it later. And I did when 13 started, because I always watch again for a new Doctor. So it was spoiled for me.
Yeah.
But also the mid-season, because I recently rewatched this season, the mid-season trailer shows you that Saxon Master is in it.
Oh.
There's a shot of him, and you're like, why?
See,
No,
I
thanks.
don't remember that, because I remember, mind you, I'm not one for watching trailers.
Yeah.
I am the sort of person who doesn't watch trailers. But I remember watching it at the time. And you know what I did? I was lulled into a false sense of security. I was watching Doctor Who and I saw him and I'm just like, that guy is so familiar. It's known from somewhere. And I fell into the millennial trap of going, I'll just look him up on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And it was literally 20 minutes into the episode. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Why did I do it to myself?
Yeah, I think he does a pretty good job of hiding
Yes.
himself in it.
I want more. Like, that makes me want more. Masterful does not make me want more of him. That makes me want more of him.
Yeah, he did such a good job. I don't know what it... This isn't a masterful review.
No, it isn't.
not.
But it's just whenever we talk about the Saxon Master, we always end up talking about the differences in performances. And I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I think it has to come down to writing, right? They didn't make him as fun.
Yeah, or it's too long ago. Like Billie Piper admitted in the special, the 50th special, that she just didn't really remember what her characterization for Rose was. Like she just sort
Gobby
of...
Chav.
Yeah, she just sort of lost that. That wasn't who she was anymore. So she just really couldn't...
I mean, she was
replicate.
19 at the time she played Rose.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
like-
And the actress who played Susan said the same thing about the Five Doctors.
Oh, mind you,
She-
that was the problem. They didn't tell her whether they wanted her to be
but
older or younger.
She couldn't make a decision. She didn't know what decision to make, and it just kind of fell flat. Like it just happens after a long time. You just you change, and you don't know who you're supposed to be, and yeah,
And characters changing over time is like a great thing. I mean, you look at Colin Baker's portrayal of the Sixth Doctor. His
Yeah.
change over time
Yeah.
has been absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
I think it was just jarring.
And John Simm might be a physical actor. He might embody the Master physically. That might be
Yeah.
how he finds the character when he's on set. He looks within himself, and he's got the costume, and he goes for it, and he knows what he's doing. And take that away, and he's in a recording booth, and maybe he can't
Yeah.
quite grab that.
We'll get to Masterful one day.
Yeah.
That's way down the track. But you know, it was a great performance in this, and yeah, I love that idea that I like the idea that he's basically just watching. Like the doctor and the nurse don't seem to indicate in any way that he's in charge of them or anything.
Yeah.
He's just there on the ground floor. And that smacks of like early Master, right?
Yeah.
Like that idea that I'm just going to watch what happens.
Yeah, I'm smarter than everyone, so I'm just going to play from the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he didn't need to have that disguise with the hospital staff, because he doesn't need it for them, but
No.
he wears it.
I think he enjoys it.
Yeah, he loves...
Who doesn't love a bit of
that's
dress
the
up?
same reason when he puts the burglar mask on, when he says he's going to get her out of there, and he's putting a disguise on a disguise. He's like, oh, I'm a master of disguise. And I'm like, you smug bitch.
I like the idea, like, and I think it's a very subtle thing. The Doctor, as the Doctor said, I want to show them every star in the universe.
Yeah.
And the Master will happily sit and watch a star burn, a house burn, a bee get ripped apart by ants. Like, just sit there and watch carnage and just poke and see what happens.
It's great because he's watching the Doctor on the TV screen, knowing that the Doctor's going to arrive to Bill being converted to a Cyberman.
Yep.
He's savoring that Doctor's descent into his worst possible nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, and it's sadistic.
It is. That is why he is the sadistic Master.
Yeah. It's funny because we talk about the War Master being the patient one. Saxon Master, as it turns out, is actually pretty patient as well. We just don't see him enough to get
exactly.
that sense.
We haven't had enough. This is why I often think I'm very spoiled with Big Finish, because they give me so much that when the TV show doesn't give, like, obviously can't give me anywhere near as much as what Big Finish does. Sometimes I feel like the TV show falls a bit flat, but not in this case.
No.
I loved this story.
It's so creepy, and it's a fantastic reveal that he's Mr. Razor. I wish I had seen or known if people guessed it was him at the time. The double reveal, it tricks you because it makes you think that the secret reveal is that they're all Cybermen. So you think you're clever because you're like, they're Cybermen. I've guessed the twist.
Yes.
But that's not the twist. It's a trap. The real twist is that he's the master the whole time and he's helping facilitate this.
And
that Bill's a Cyberman.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. She's dead.
And the thing is, you're not expecting that because, of course, they set up the expectation that you're waiting for the Doctor to be killed, to regenerate. And then suddenly the companion gets killed within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
the most unsafe, episode for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love creepy horror Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm very, very keen for Steven Moffat's episode Boom this season.
Yes.
Because, I think he's a great writer.
One more little thing.
Yes, please.
Interaction between Mr. Razor and Bill. Bill wants to leave, and Mr. Razor says, "You are special to me. You most special person. You are like a mother." And she's like, "No." He's like, "An aunt? No, not that either." And I like the idea that sometimes we have seen the Master be confused at human culture.
Yes.
And it's hard to draw the line here if he's just being silly as Mr. Razor or if the Master, like he thinks the Teletubbies are real, is just like, this is a human reference.
So my favorite line comes very shortly before or after that, where he says, "When you hug me, it gives me pain in my heart." She says, "Aw, your chest unit digs right in."
Yeah. He's having fun. And I think it's all because he has this tantalizing idea that the Doctor is going to show up and have his life ruined.
Yeah.
That's what's fueling him.
Also, I'd like to point out the beauty of whenever the Cybermen turn up, the instinct is to upgrade them to make them bigger and better, especially with the Russell T Davies idea of like what was driving the Cybermen was upgrades. Like everything has to be upgraded, technology has to be upgraded constantly, which is a really good impetus, but I think the sort of zombiness of them got lost that way.
Yeah.
But Steven Moffat's idea to not upgrade the Cybermen and in fact to downgrade them to what they looked like in 1966, or not really, the modern interpretation of what they looked like in 1966, where they have, you know what I love about these Cybermen? You can see faces moving underneath. Like you can see
cloth.
the cloth, you can see faces moving, not to necessarily to the way that the sound is coming out, which is creepy. But
It's
also the hands.
the hands creep me the most.
It's because they've got like surgical gloves on.
Yeah, it's slightly baggy skin kind of look, but it's because it's fleshy kind of colored initially. Ugh.
Yep. I love it. And it like, it's not very often that Doctor Who manages to make something like an old idea like Cybermen or Daleks scary again. And very, very rarely do they manage it. I mean, this is the only time recently that Cybermen have been even remotely scary.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, the only time that Daleks were scary were in that one New Year's Day thing where one of them literally started piloting someone like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I think that it's so scary but it's not even body horror. It's not like we see them all deformed under there. It's really clean. They're very clean looking, but it's that human thing of we can see ourselves in them.
It's uncanny valley.
When they're like, the big stompy machine things, they look more like robots. It's harder for us as viewers to connect and say, "Oh, that's us." These you can, they almost look like World War I like hospital soldiers just lined up in a ward who have all been gassed because they're all just bandaged up.
Yep.
You can see we've been like that before. War has pushed us to look like that before, and so that's why it's scary because as a human you can see it.
Yep. You are like it, you can envision yourself that looks like something that you would literally like you could see.
Yeah.
Like it looks, all of the elements of it are something that could be found anywhere near you and made to look like you.
Yeah.
Like it is supremely uncomfortable, and that is a sweet spot for Doctor Who. Like making it uncomfortable that you can that then it makes the Doctor winning all that better, or the Master winning all that creepier and worse.
Yeah.
You need the full upgrade.
You're not going to turn me into one of those things.
I'm rebuilding you to survive in a world not made for flesh.
But look at them. They're screaming in pain every second they're alive.
But we've got something for that now. This won't stop you feeling pain, but it will stop you caring about it. It fits over your head.
Were you attending carefully?
We'll see.
Again, this is another two-parter, so I'm going to stick to doing just three.
3, sure.
What does Mr. Razor say a positive attitude is good for?
Facing the horrors ahead,
Yes.
which include the tea.
Yes. You'll get this one. What does Mr. Razor say happened when Bill hugs him?
Oh, I get pain in my heart.
Yes. What does Missy want to do to Mr. Razor's organs?
Remove them one by one?
Kind of. And then do something with them.
Make a balloon animal? No. No.
Extract them and make a lovely soup.
A lovely soup. Soup. Okay.
So yeah, 2 out of 3.
Oh, thank you.
I spared you because I was like, I could make him do a visual one like the lamps, but I won't. Oh,
Why,
I wanted
what-
to say that.
What was it?
No,
how
no,
many,
I
was it
didn't-
going to be how many patients were in the ward? Or?
No. It was going to be something to do with his room full of gadgets, but I wasn't
Ah.
that cruel. But that does remind me, I did want to say, his room full of gadgets and stuff reminded me of O's TARDIS. That sort of like
Yeah.
cluttered workspace where he's clearly just needs to do stuff all the time and has things everywhere.
Yeah. Don't say that. Then everyone's going to insist that Saxon's master comes after him. Which he doesn't, guys.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Okay. What's our kill count like?
Yeah, it's test subjects.
I mean, he did like clobber one of the proto Cybermen that was trying to like grab Bill.
Yeah.
That was,
But again, it's probably like a Big Finish one. There's an unspoken amount that we haven't seen.
I mean, Missy absolutely killed it with the one-liners. Put that in the list.
Well, I am that mysterious adventurer in all of time and space, known only as Doctor Who. And these are my disposables, exposition and comic relief.
We're not functions.
Darling, those are genders.
What'd we learn?
What did we learn?
The Master is kind of behind the genesis of the Mondasian Cybermen.
Or at
kind
least the
of.
ones on that ship.
Yes. Yes, because there would presumably be others.
On Mondas, funnily
enough. Which is cool. It's cool to have this and Genesis of the Daleks as like companion
Yeah.
pieces to
Well, apparently he originally wanted to call it Genesis of the Cybermen, but then he was like,
people will know.
Yeah, no. Then in the end, he went with "World Enough and Time," which is a wonderful line. It's it's the first line from the poem "To His Coy Mistress" by Andrew Marvell, which, sorry, my brain's throwing up connections again. Which was mentioned by Tom Baker on the punt in Sharda.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Missy doesn't remember this encounter because she gets asked, "Don't you remember being here? Don't you remember what planet this is from?"
Yeah, and as we know, there's always a bit of. They've basically written it down as like brain fog, right? They can't quite remember what happened when they meet their different selves because it's not meant to happen, right?
Yeah.
As we said in one of the last episodes we did, like you're not meant to meet. Like if you were in a time
Don't
traveling
bring
race,
up that book around me. It was Legacy of the Daleks.
No, like when you're in when you're in a time traveling society, you can't have yourself meeting previous versions of yourself within that society, which could then change your own personal
Yeah, that was
history.
8 calling himself naughty.
Yes,
in,
naughty. Ugh. So bad. Paul McGann would never say the word naughty.
And Delgado would never say toilet.
No, he wouldn't. He would say lavatory like a proper gentleman.
But yes, so that's really fun to have those two masters meeting. Is this the first time two masters meet?
This is the first time
on the
television
show, yeah.
that two masters meet, yes.
Yes. It's about like
I know.
feel like why not? Surely you could get Roberts, Simm, Gomez, Jacoby, maybe Beavers. I don't know how mobile he is, but maybe.
I don't know. I don't know how mobile.
Dwan,
I don't know how mobile Derek Jacobi is these days.
That's true. Oh, well, he was just in Good Omens, so he can at least make an appearance on a set.
He walked very carefully because he was also in Sandman, and I noticed he was sitting most of the time.
Right. Well, you could still get Roberts, Simm, Gomez, and Dwan, and if you really wanted to go bold, McQueen.
Wouldn't that be lovely? I would love to see McQueen in real life.
We get a little bit of lore about the Doctor and Master at school, and we get that famous, that was my man crush.
The shy people listening, they'll come for us.
I'm one of them. I'm already in the house. The calls coming from in the podcast.
I guess that's it.
Is that all we learnt? I suppose so.
Is that all we learned?
The Saxon Master, more patient than you'd think. But only because he has the delicious Doctor Who TV channel to watch in his laboratory all day.
More patient than you'd think. He genuinely has like a lovely relationship with her. I find it really weird.
Yeah, I think, but that's more like, because that's weird, because that's just self-satisfying and being like, she doesn't know I'm going to kill her kind of thing. Like, he doesn't need to do that. I guess maybe he's bored. Like, well, actually, we know he had Lucy Saxon.
Because he was bored.
Well, he had to have a friend or a facade or something, and in this one, he has Bill.
Oh, it's so gross. Sorry, I find that a really, really gross concept that the Master's just like, I'm going to be bored for a long time. I'll get a girl in.
Yeah. Or it's just like a thing of maybe if Bill was rescued by the Doctor, she won't be. But if she was somehow, she'll be like, no, he's really nice. And the Doctor will hate that.
The old step away from them now. Why? What's wrong? It's like, why would you not listen to the person you trust most? It's just like, okay, I will step away from them even if I think they're all right.
That situation, but reverse card for Missy and the Master. And the Doctor, when Bill's like, I don't trust her. Come away from her. We're not taking her in the TARDIS. And he's like, no, I'll do as I please.
Sorry, it's just all my years of podcasting, no one has ever hit me with an Uno reverse card.
All right, we've been rambling.
Okay. That's all for this week's episode of Please Attend Carefully. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that with each new episode you come to understand, appreciate, and maybe even obey the Master. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be updated on new episodes. Amber, how can listeners get in contact with us?
They can email us, pleaseattendcarefully@gmail.com. Send us an ask on Tumblr @pleaseattendcarefully, or on Instagram @pleaseattendcarefully.
We also have a Patreon with tiers starting as low as $2. I've been Ciarán.
And I've been Amber.
We hope you'll be tuning in next time. After all, it can't hurt you to listen, can it?
He likes me, so exciting.